Hello, Joshua.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
We are back. Code and Color is back. This probably sounds really funny because I've been really ill the last week, so it's like we're back. Yeah, I'm not sharp in my speech.
We've been
And
back
just
for a
like to
while.
caveat before we start, if you hear snoring, it's my dog. For those that are actually watching, there he is. Okay.
Mascot. Code and
Sleeping
Call mascot.
little loaf. Joshua, how have you been, buddy?
Been good. Yeah, good. Just got out of the cinema watching Wicked. Really feel like it needs a animated adaptation.
I feel like you want a video game from what you were telling me before.
Oh yeah, just like obviously it's the Wicked Witch of the West, and she gets her broom, and her broom is literally modelled after like Man of Steel. Like imagine like the best Harry Potter, Quidditch.
Yeah.
Imagine Quidditch, but like 200 miles an hour. Like you could dive through
Quidditch,
someone's chest so fast. That's like.
I feel like when HBO remake the very unnecessary Harry Potter series, I feel like Quidditch is something that they will definitely improve on.
Yeah.
I feel like Quidditch will feel like a bigger thing than it did. Like it felt very empty when I rewatched it not long ago. The films. Quidditch feels very empty. It feels like there's not a lot going on, and I feel like it needs to feel like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like speed. It needs to feel like aggressive. And that's the best way I can do it. It felt like the broom flying was like really aggressive, like darting between buildings, and like she stood up and she's like all regal and great, and like when Harry's like stood on the thing and he's like flying away and he's like precariously. I want that at like 200 miles an hour.
Quidditch is a very underappreciated thing, and I know they've just released their own Quidditch game that's just come out not so long ago, but I feel like that was something that was super missing from Hogwarts Legacy.
It's probably
at the time. Yeah, I know that, and I think it is Portkey Games again. I'm sure it is that have done the Quidditch game, but I kind of would have liked it all in one place. Like, I don't know. I feel like they missed out a lot. Quidditch seems to be underappreciated for what it is, really.
For what they were doing,
the potential.
Yeah, for what they were doing in that game, and like when we were watching the trailers, it's like, oh, we got this in there, we've got the zoo bits, we've got the thing bits. People would have come to Hogwarts Legacy just to play a season of Quidditch.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like they missed out on a whole market of it. Yeah. But yeah. Any games you've played this week? Anything else?
Yeah, I've dabbled in games, so I've not had the energy to sort of play. And when I played a bit of Days Gone, and I've played. I think that was about. Yeah, I think in terms of games that I've not been playing that much. I've just been sort of. Bleh. But I did get on the PC last night and come to a little bit of an epiphany in terms of like game development.
Oh yes, you were saying, but I told you to wait until we started.
Yes, I thought you were teeing me up for that. I was like, if I miss this, and he's like, Josh, talk about the game engine stuff.
I immediately forgot about it.
Yeah. So I was trying to work out. I want to make an open world game, and it's not the easiest thing to make. It's definitely not the first thing you should make.
No, considering you've never actually made a game yet, Josh.
Exactly, go big, go home kind of thing. And I was looking at it, and I was trying to see what the limitations of Unreal Engine is. Now, Unreal Engine is a very beautiful engine, and you've got Lumen, you've got Nanite that makes everything easier. But I really think that and there are games that use Unreal Engine for open world. For example, Black Myth.
Oh, I didn't know it was Unreal.
But it's not
Lego
open
Fortnite.
world. Yes, but it's not open world in a sense of but when you think
I don't know about Black Myth though. Is it open areaed?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I think the extent of it is, and I think it's the same with Lego. Not Lego. Well, that's sort of procedural in it. But with Fortnite, for instance, Fortnite is a massive island, but I don't know the length and breadth, like the square rootage. But from what I can tell on the actual Unreal Engine itself, the limit you can do on that is 21 square kilometers, which, if I'm doing maths, is 21, isn't it? Either side, 21 by 21.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. However, if you look at something like DayZ, that's 255 or 265 square kilometers.
Right.
And that's like that's an open world. Like that's a huge map. And I'm like, how do I do that in Unreal Engine if the limit is a 21 square miles, square kilometers? And actually, I'm using the wrong engine. And this is where the epiphany came in. I think I might try Unity.
Okay.
Because Unity has the facility to be able to create a map that's 100 square kilometers.
That's a lot. That's a lot to fill out.
And that's sufficient. Like, I think I could make an open world game that could keep you busy, or like an online type DayZ type game that could keep you busy, and it wouldn't take you 5 minutes to walk across the map. It'd take you a couple of hours.
Yeah, but Devil's Advocate.
Tin Hat.
Tin Hat.
Yeah.
You've never done it. Why don't you try the 21 kilometers first?
Because
20 kilometers, 21. I'm not sure you quite understand how big 21 kilometers squared is. I'm not sure you're quite fathoming how big that is, Josh.
I walked it yesterday.
Take 1 kilometer, right?
Yeah.
Times that by 21, and then do the exact same in the other direction.
My thought process is, though, I could do 21 kilometers, but like, how many towns and cities and points of interest could you fit in a 21 square kilometer base?
Probably quite a lot.
But you could fit a lot more in 100.
Yes, but Josh, do you not think you're biting off more than you can chew?
Of course.
Absolutely, give it a go, but I just know what you're like.
Well, I'm going to give this engine a go. I'm going to have a little play around with it when I get a bit more free time. I think I'll probably do it tomorrow. And then I'll see what it's like, because there's another thing that I do like about Unity. I've been watching some tutorials that, like, you have a window. So obviously screen. You have all your menus and stuff on the right-hand side. You have what you're editing at the top, like if you're adding trees and stuff. And then it shows you that view at the bottom of like, oh, we've just added mountains over here. We've just added trees over here. And it just populates how you would see it through your field of view. And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I guess.
You can see it like firsthand. But it's a different engine, but it's going to be like a learning curve. But I think and there's so many more like free assets on the Unity store, because it's very much like a setup for an indie developer. If I was making something like the new Captain America, for instance, that's made it, the new Marvel 1935 Rise of Hydra, whatever it's called, that's in Unreal Engine 5. And that's not an open world. That's just like open areas, like Uncharted is. And that can look really pretty because of Nanite, because of Lumen, because of all the things they've got in there.
Yeah.
But it's not an open world game, and I think I'm using the wrong engine to try and make something open world-esque. So I'm going to have a go with that.
Well, fair enough.
That was the epiphany I got.
Well, keep us updated, Josh. I wish you all the best, as always. Hopefully you do it. I'd like to see you do it.
Well, I need to bring some code into Code and Colour Data. You know what I mean?
I need to bring some colour back. I thought about doing some drawing yesterday, but
we'll both bring sexy back.
We will. We will. Love that.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. Yourself? Well, what have I? Well, actually, I've been playing an array of games, to be fair. Obviously, Fortnite Chapter 6 is just launched yesterday. Very good.
Is it like a brand new...
Whole new chapter. Yeah, we're in Japan. Godzilla's coming to the game. Baymax is in the Battle Pass, which is very cool.
Oh, I might need to dip in that.
It is good. There's loads of new mechanical stuff. What else? Some games I haven't told you I've been playing. The one that I have told you that I've been playing, of course, is obviously this one, Stellar Blade.
Oh no.
Josh called me a simp when I got it, but I don't know. It is an odd game. I've never played anything sort of like this before. It's not even Japanese. It's a Korean studio that make it. But it's definitely a little bit the other way of the kind of game that I usually play. Also, it is a Souls-like game. It's very difficult. I have died numerous times. But it is fun. It is fun. I do think they very much over-sexualize Eve. A lot. A lot. But I try to pick outfits that don't, because it's just like, well, I live with my family, and I would hate for them to walk in the room and my mum be like, what on earth is that character? I'm like, yeah, I don't really get to choose what she looks like. So, this is the protagonist.
Your family know who you are. You know exactly who you are.
But what else have I been playing? I've been playing Power World.
Oh, is it any good?
It's okay. It's
Is
not what
is
I
it breaking
expected it to
your
be.
mind? Like,
No, I
why am
wouldn't
I
say I
shooting
love it.
Eevee?
I wouldn't say I love it. And if anything, I'm looking at that going, wow, that is just a rip off of this Pokemon. It's not a bad game. I wouldn't say I love it. It's very much a sandbox survival game,
Hmm.
and you kind of just enslave these creatures. It's a little bit weird. It doesn't feel like Pokemon. It
I
feels
mean,
like they're your slaves.
I
I mean,
mean,
I've got
Devil's Advocate, Tin Hat, in Pokemon, pretty much the same.
okay,
Ooh, wild
yes,
animal, be mine forever.
yes, okay, but it's more. I feel like it's different because at least in Pokemon, I'm not forcing them to build things and work.
Just fight to the death in the arena.
Yeah, hi, live in this camp, and can you just forage and mine and do all these? Like they quite literally do that. I'm like, wow, this is basically just. I feel like I've got slaves.
So, off the back of that, because there is a discussion I want to talk to about, and it might have been the topic in it, I don't know. But like,
It's not.
have you seen the Horizon rip off?
Oh God, don't! It looks
It's
honestly.
exactly the same as Power World,
There's
but just
people have
Horizon.
no shame. Like,
Yeah,
how are we getting?
Tencent.
Yeah, but that is going to get a cease and desist. That is absolutely not going to stand. There's no way that game can stand at all.
Have you seen the gameplay?
Yeah, it's all, and the fact that you even play as a red-headed sort of tribal woman, you're just taking the piss, mate.
Yeah.
That ain't lasting. Also, this brings me to another one. I've been playing the trading card game simulator. You might have seen that about the trading card game Shop Simulator.
Yeah.
I've been playing that one. It's an absolute mess on PlayStation. Came out last Monday on PlayStation. I'd been watching tons of streamers play it on because it was only a Steam exclusive. Been playing on that. It's very buggy. I am enjoying it, just very buggy. But are you familiar with the Pokemon Lapras?
I am, yeah, the water one.
The one that looks like a turtle with a...
Long neck.
So one of the cards this isn't a set of Pokemon. That's the creature. I'm not joking. That is a lawsuit waiting to happen.
That's exactly the same, isn't it?
That honestly, but they've called it Veldorix. I'm like, that is Lapras. They are going to catch a case. It's I don't know how we've got to this era of like these gaming studios having no shame, but we need to just pack it in because it's actually disgusting.
Well, the reason why they're getting behind it is because it's Tencent who were making it. It was one of the biggest game studios in the world, and it's Chinese, and it's a Chinese ripoff.
Well, I'm not a fan of it at all. I'm not a fan of these ripoffs happening.
Nah.
So yeah, those are the 4 games I've been playing: Stellar Blade, Fortnite, TCG Simulator, and Pal World. I played Pal World very little since I've got the TCG Simulator. I've put a lot of hours into that. My shop is sick, but it's really buggy and it needs patching, and I don't think they'll ever patch it, to be honest. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Well, I guess that kind of fluidly takes us to what I want to talk about. I feel like there was a good segue, wasn't it? Yeah. A few hot takes about video game companies in there, which brings us to the topic of today, and that is, because we're an animation and video game podcast, I decided, and I keep seeing them, so I decided to Google loads and found loads of video game and animation hot takes from people online. I went through loads of Reddit forums and other various forums, and I'm going to read out some of the ones that they've said, and I want to get your opinion on them. Because I know some of them are going to
get very angry about this.
Some of them are a bit like, yeah, okay.
Right.
There's a lot of... I've got lists of games here that people have just claimed to be very overrated, and TV shows and animated TV shows and films. Sorry. So let's start, shall we, Josh? So some of them here. The first one, this one is outrageous. The Wii U is better than the Switch.
I'll get in the bin.
That is just an awful take. I don't think there needs to be much discussion there. What grounds have you got for the Wii U being better than the Switch? It had no games. It didn't perform. What?
Jeffrey Dahmer wrote that article. You know.
No, that wasn't an article. This was on a Reddit
Yeah.
like thread.
No, absolutely. They shouldn't give prisoners Reddit threads because that's just horrendous too.
I mean, yeah, also like the Switch, you know, we had some of the best exclusives that they've ever had. Plus they had like amazing ports and brought these awesome games to Nintendo, which has just not happened. I know that Wii U got a few Assassin's Creed games, but come on.
Right, main takeaway from this is everybody goes, right, we really like the Wii, do that again. They did it again and it was crap.
They didn't do it again though. It's not. I don't understand. To this day, I still don't know why Nintendo called it the Wii U because it's not a Wii.
But everybody wants a Switch 2. They want a better graphics, Switch 2.
Yeah, but do you think it'll happen again? What if it happens again?
What if it happens again?
Yeah.
My hot take is I think that PlayStation's going to kill Switch.
Oh, what with their rumored new handheld?
They're already playing with the water with the PlayStation Portal, and
I was tempted to get one.
I am very tempted to get one, just because of like, you know, with Ren and TV and like he's watching Miss Rachel every single second, every single day.
Yeah. Also, can you start sitting closer to the mic so that people can hear you?
Oh, is that better?
Do you know what that really is? Let us know if you can hear Josh better. I know it's
sorry.
Not
I apologise to all the, you know, the 100 odd episodes that we I've been doing this, and I've never been this close to the mic. But you know, no, I don't like. I think they are getting there with it. I think that because you now don't need a PlayStation, you can just use the cloud for the PlayStation Portal. I think if the main selling point is if they make a handheld that can play PlayStation 5 games and you've still got a PS5 to play them on, and it's PS5 level graphics, Switch can't come out with a PlayStation 4-esque Switch. Yeah. It needs to be something that can compete.
They need to release the Portal that is also playable offline.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. So, I mean, yeah. But for that reason alone, right, that the Switch influenced this, right? The Switch has brought back the demand for handheld.
Yeah.
Because people love it. And there was one that was like one of the hot takes, and I didn't put them on the list, but I feel like I'm going to mention it now. And it was like the Switch is fundamentally a handheld console, and really wasn't that great as a stationary console, I guess.
Disagree.
Yeah, I do.
I've played it more. When I go on holiday, I take my Switch and I'll play like Kirby or I'll play, you know, something. But like I won't sit and play Breath of the Wild on my Switch or something that really takes my concentration. I do.
I did both. I do both. Well, to be fair, one of my Joy-Cons has drift, so I haven't played it as a handheld for a while. Because I've also got a controller that I've just bought. So yeah, I guess I'd probably play it more as a fixed console than a handheld one.
I don't my Switch is here. That's how little I play my Switch. It's here. I haven't put it into the TV downstairs.
Well, you don't play it enough then.
Which is a crime against itself. So
it is a crime, actually.
I think. To be fair, I think unless Switch comes out with Breath of the Wild 3, you know, Tears of the Wild, whatever it is, you know, I'll probably sell my Switch.
I probably won't. I won't because I've got so many games on it. Right, let's do an animated one.
So,
Aang and Katara should never have got together. I mean, what else? This is those people that shipped like Zuko and Katara, and I'm like, get in the bin, yeah.
For a hot second, I was like, Zuko and Katara. No, are they brother and sister?
No, Katara, the Water Tribe girl.
No, who's the one who throws the boomerang?
Suki, and she's with
No.
Sokka.
What is it? Sokka. Sokka. In Sokka and Katara brother and sister?
Yeah, not Zuko. Right.
No, he's the Fire Nation dude.
Yes. And you, in case you're unfamiliar, Aang is the Avatar, the bald-headed air nomad.
Yeah.
Right. Sweet. For the audio listeners, Josh put his middle fingers up at me.
I didn't do anything.
What a horrible man. What a twat.
No.
I mean, I just don't understand how. Like, of course they should have. I mean,
it's a love story. She knew as soon as she saw him, she was like, "I'm bedding the Avatar." You know what I mean?
You know, they're not going to have her do the intro voiceover for every book for him
Yeah.
for them two to not be together. Get in the bin, whoever said that one.
Yeah, no. agree.
Animation doesn't need live action remakes. Now we already know how I feel about this.
Tyler's just completely opposed to that. He loves a live action remake for our listeners. I disagree again. Why not? Like,
Because it doesn't need it. Right. And I've spoken to so many people about the How to Train Your Dragon and the Lilo and Stitch one.
Right.
Yes. Right. They look fantastic. But do you want to, right. Let's just scrap Stitch for a minute. Right. Let's talk about Toothless. Of course he looks fantastic because all they've done is add the other 25%, take away 25% of the CGI from that film and turn that into live action. And it looks exactly the same. It adds nothing. What's the point? What's the point in telling a story in live action if you're not going to do anything different? It looks no different.
Okay. I got a trump card for you. Matt Uno.
There is no trump card.
Detective Pikachu.
But, okay. What's that based on?
An animation?
No. You're missing the point. You are missing the point. Also, this Pokemon is a game, first and foremost.
Yeah,
so that's fine.
It isn't Detective Pikachu. Is Detective Pikachu an actual game first before it is an animation?
Yes. But How to Train Your Dragon is a film. It's not a game.
Yeah, that's fine. But like that's still live action. That's an adaptation, you know.
I think no. See, right. First of all, the Detective Pikachu story from the film isn't based on anything. It's not like an adaptation of something. All they've done is taken the character from a game and made it into this new story, right? That's a new concept. How to Train Your Dragon should have done a new concept rather than just shot for shot remake a film with this designs that look exactly the same as a film that existed already.
Devil's advocate, Tin Hat.
There is no devil's advocate, I know I'm right here.
There is, right?
There isn't.
Pokemon, for all intents and purposes, is to some people is an animation. It's not the game first; it's an animation.
Okay. Well, that's an adaptation.
Yeah, that's an adaptation. So, for people, they want to see, you know, Ryan Reynolds playing Pikachu,
and I've got no problem with that because again, it's not a remake. They've done something new. Whereas the Lilo and Stitch and the How to Train Your Dragon isn't something new. It's an accessible film. And all that does, I don't mind live actions existing, but all you're doing is undermining a medium that already existed before.
But it's going to different people. Like, some people are not going to watch the
people then need to grow up.
Yeah, well, you can't just expect people to grow up.
People I think
if they want to change.
I think
people will see it in animation. People will see it in live action. Yeah. I myself will see it in both. And do you know what? From what I've seen of Lilo and Stitch so far, slapped it out of the park.
No, now, that's terrible.
Terrible. If we're going to play about animation adaptations and come into live action, I really don't think we need a Moana live action one.
We don't need any of them
at all. But I do think to be fair, I've watched a trailer for it, and I was like, you know what? I really want to rewatch Eragon. I love a good dragon film.
Yeah, exactly. Just watch them.
Yeah, but I love a good dragon film. So if you can give me 2024 visuals for a dragon flying around and toothless, fighting the giant alpha dragons,
I just know what's going to happen because we're going to do the same thing every time there's an adaptation, Josh. You're going to go, I think it's going to be great. Then you're going to watch it and go, do you know what? I actually didn't think it was that great. And I can't think of a single adaptation where this has been the alternative since we started doing this.
Final point on this then. If that is the case, and every adaptation I go see is crap and you should watch the original version instead, doesn't that then shine a brighter torch on the original and say, actually, more people should watch this because it's a better film?
Yes!
Then what's your issue? So let it come out.
I don't want people watching the old one, the new crap.
Let it come out. Let it be crap. People will go, actually, I'll watch the original.
Well, I mean, we've got no choice of it. It's going to come out, and I don't think we should have it.
Unless, I'm sorry, you know, I know we're a little podcast and we're going to be millionaires one day once this podcast takes off and all our fans love us, and it's great. But at the moment in time, I don't own Warner Brothers. I don't own Microsoft. I don't own any of these big ass studios that make all these decisions. I'm just going to watch what they put out. Yeah. I can't make those decisions. And eventually, and you know what?
And until people stop watching what they put out, they won't stop making it.
But we're not all, you know, sheep. Everybody's going to watch what they're going to watch. And then, you know what? It's going to grow. I'm waiting for the live action Frozen. You know what I mean? Because that did well.
Also, that Mufasa film looks dog shite, but I won't even go there.
It's just weird, isn't it?
It just is unnecessary, and it's just I really don't see the point. Moving on, back to game ones. This one might aggravate you. First-person shooters are an easy out for programmers who don't want to animate playable characters, and it's lazy.
Hmm. Hmm.
I feel like the lazy bit was unnecessary.
Lazy feels like a shot because it's just.
Feels like, ooh, that
It
felt
took
personal, didn't
it
it?
took me a week to put some arms on a dude in a first person shooter. So like I can't say it's being lazy, but I do.
I get it in this sense that like the arms. When you look at early Halo,
Yeah.
they don't really move.
Well, it's more like I think
There's two movements. You aim down sight.
yeah.
Oh, you're not. That's it, really, isn't it?
I think it's no. It's a different type of game. I don't. No, I know it's a lot harder to make a third person game, and going from first to third person is its own little like has its own chore. But it's I just don't think that it's. I don't think it's lazy. I think a person making COD, for instance, puts as much effort into making it as visually stunning as you would do a third person. The only difference with third person side of things is you see more, you see the character, and you see a lot more of the environment because you can see everything around you. Which then, in terms of like functionality, you may have a system where your window, your viewport of your character sees all the detailed thing, but everything else behind you's got nothing until he turns and it brings it into focus or
Yeah.
brings it wherever it needs. So you can have a bit of an easier running game, But in terms of like being lazy, it's a different type of game. Like I would say that off the back of that, making a racing game's pretty fucking lazy. Because
Well, it depends if it's a
that's just a
good
car.
racing game.
Well, that's just a car on a road, and you just swap the model out and tweak a few little settings in it. But you just you got your tracks that are there, or if it's a city, you're making a city, and your car just goes where it needs to go. You had a brake reverse, had a few keys, and that's a pretty straightforward sort of, you know. And back in the day, racing games used to be the road would move and the car would stay stationary, and you just skid and do like
Yeah.
the red Ferrari one.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? The road would just move for you, and the car would bob around, but the road would be constantly moving wherever it needs to go.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
interesting. I mean, I do think I don't think it's lazy.
Lazy is a harsh word for anything.
Yeah, I think there's some
I don't think
fantastic
it's lazy for
first
the
person
cow either.
games. I will say that although I think in some games like horror games it works, I think as a society or an industry, I think we've moved beyond the need for first person in a lot of games.
Mm.
I don't think, I don't know. I just feel like it's not as immersive as it used to feel like because there are immersive third person games now, like The Last of Us, or even in terms of online shooters, Fortnite, like people want to see the character they're playing as. And they've made a buck from bloody making characters that people want to see, that there's I think Arms is just not cutting it anymore. And I used to hate that about Cyberpunk, that it's like, oh, you can customize your character, but you're not going to see it. So it's almost like, what's the point?
Yeah, I
What
hate that about Cyberpunk.
what is the point? Yes, and I found that very weird that they decided to do that, given how successful The Witcher was. But there we go.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, again, odd. It's just odd.
Yeah.
I think it's an odd. I feel like first person games feel really out of place in modern gaming.
Mhm.
That's just kind of where I'm at. Even Call of Duty is not the hype for Call of Duty is not what it used to be. Even with how well Black Ops 6 is currently doing. Black Ops 6, that's an insane thing to say, isn't it? There we go. But yeah, so I don't think first person feels necessary. This next one, I think is interesting, and I think it poses a very good conversation, which we probably could have done a full-length episode on. And it's regarding the Game Awards. And it's that video games should not be nominated for Game of the Year if they're exclusive to one platform. You do essentially knock out over half of your games in the last 10 years with that in mind.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting one. So essentially, you're thinking God of War,
Last of Us,
Last of Us, Breath of the Wild,
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man,
Astro.
Astro, Fable. When that comes out, that will
Yeah.
more than likely get nominated. Starfield didn't, did it? That got snubbed last year. Yeah, just Halo, anything like that. You completely eradicate those from being, but maybe it will reduce. It will stop studios making exclusive games, but also I think because they get such, like Sony probably pump, we can tell how much money they clearly pump into their studios for their games, right?
Mm. Well, they're trying to buy the Elden Ring studio. Well, the one who owns Elden Ring.
Yeah.
From the boss of From Software's studio.
Mm.
So they're pumping money into that. But yeah, I agree. I think,
You agree? Okay, cool.
that I agree. Yeah, you'd knock out all of you, like pretty much half your player base, and I think that you can't say a game should be nominated for Game of the Year if everybody doesn't have the chance to experience it.
This is it, right?
If I've got to buy a specific console to play God of War, that's why I like PC and having that thing in between of being like I can play both. I just have to wait longer, and I really do. Which is another hot take of mine. Why aren't games released on all platforms all the time like they used to be? Like you could get a version of a game back in the 2010s on the Game Boy Advance. Do you know what I mean? Or wherever it was.
And even like when PlayStation and the PS2 and the Xbox, the OG Xbox come out, they were running simultaneously.
There'd be a DS version, or there'd be a Wii version,
and they were all selling well as consoles, right, at the time. I think the exclusivity in games these days, I guess they kind of thought, well, we need a reason for people to buy PlayStation, and we need a reason for people to buy an Xbox. But I think PlayStation, because they've kind of monopolized this industry with their first-person studios, Xbox are suffering. And I may not be a big Xbox fan, but I am a gaming fan, and I don't want to see Xbox die. You and I grew up with those consoles, that very first one, all the way through to where we are now. We were there from Xbox's origins and PlayStation's as well, of course. But it just would be a shame to see a console have to die, which we nearly have had this year. Xbox have been through the ringer this year because of this exclusivity thing. Some people like the Xbox, and some people would love to probably play The Last of Us on it, and vice versa. I wouldn't mind being able to play Halo on a PlayStation because I don't want to have to own both consoles just to be able to play every game available.
Yeah, and I think that off the back of that, even if you're not doing like exclusivity, like you're not Halo on PlayStation or things like that, which Halo is coming to PlayStation just in like 2026 with the PlayStation 6. But
it's not confirmed though, is it?
But I think
I would love it.
But I think the best of both worlds would be like if you're releasing a new God of War, it's coming to PlayStation, it's coming to PC.
I think Xbox just aren't putting their money into the right places with their games at the moment. So I think it would make sense to get that PlayStation money behind a game like Halo or Gears of War.
I think that they're. I'm going to stand by it. My brother came up with it, and I think that they're going to get rid of the console, and they're just going to be a service. I can play Game Pass on my TV downstairs. Like, why do I need an Xbox?
I don't think anybody. I can play it. I can play on my Mac that we're currently sat in front of now. So I can just do that. Like I was playing Fortnite on it the other day when I was away in Leeds. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah. Play it anyway. Yeah. So I agree. I think the time for exclusivities is over. I think it's just let gamers enjoy games because they're coming out so few and far between that. Do I think I'm going to see?
Well, this is it. Has anything even exclusive come out for Xbox this year, apart from Hellblade, and then eventually Indiana Jones? Is that even coming out this year? Indiana Jones?
Yeah, December. Okay. Now.
So
Yeah, it's coming
soon.
out in like 2 weeks. Yeah,
I think it's like next week, isn't it? Yeah. So that's it. And I don't think Indiana Jones is going to do well because, let's be honest, marketing, it's not really been about.
I should be like insert ridiculous innuendo about Indiana Jones. but I'm just not.
Ridiculous
Like,
and crude.
yeah, like, it's Uncharted, Daddy, it's Tomb Raiders, not Daddy, because that's weird. But like, it's the thing it's based off. Like, come on. Like, I should be excited about that. I love Uncharted, I love Tomb Raider, and
the
it's just
OG
not.
adventurer.
Yeah.
And we're getting a new title, and it's just A, first person, and B, exclusive.
You made Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, and you decided, let's not do that again. That really did do well. Let's make a first-person version of it. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, but you don't hold a gun in like the first couple of hours. And it's really dynamic because you can punch Nazis in the face. And I'm like, I just don't care.
I feel like it's going to give me whiplash if it's physical, like punches and stuff.
I'm going to be feeling sick. And like, do the puzzles first person, great. No, I like Nathan Drake, reading his book and going like, right, I need to go move this thing, or like you in Uncharted 4 when the clock tower's all falling around you and you're like trying to climb around it. I'm like, this is like a movie, and that's exactly what Indiana Jones should feel like. And I'm just gonna go for this, going, oh, he's just pulled a vine out of his face and a generic jungle. Great,
yeah.
So.
I don't like that. So couple more gaming ones, and then one more, and in fact we'll do the animation one, break it up. So I don't know how to feel about this one, but one that I did see, and I feel like it's not come from a place of any knowledge. Sorry to this person, but it says 2D animation is better than the CGI animation.
I've not liked any of these takes. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
they've been wild. Oh, yeah. I don't disagree with some of all of them. I don't disagree with. I don't know, but anyway, carry on.
No, like, no.
There's good 2D and there's good CGI, right?
Yeah.
Medium. I watch. I'm not going to use that as an example anymore because I was going to say, I watch Lilo and Stitch. Let's say I watch The Simpsons, right? I can't imagine The Simpsons being made as a CGI show, or I watch Spider-Verse, and I couldn't imagine that being entirely 2D. It's.
But you watch Simpsons, and then you play that Simpsons Hit and Run, and they're all 3D models walking around.
Yeah, I know. To be fair, I mean, but I don't look at that game as this is visually a masterpiece. That was just a fun, basically child-friendly version of GTA.
Yeah,
that's what makes it Hit and Run good.
I'm gonna be short and sweet with this one. I think 2D has its place, and I think CGI has its place, and I think 2D works in some instances, and CGI works in other places.
Yeah,
and without CGI, you wouldn't have Iron Man, and you wouldn't have the great many things that can come out of people's minds that are just absolutely nuts. But
I do
that
think
started from 2D animation.
Disney didn't need to go CGI.
You are very wrong about that, but okay.
Nah, I reckon all of them would have worked well as a 2D film. They really would have. Like Moana would look cool in 2D, I reckon. I think.
But they didn't
Frozen.
have the audience for it, though, did they?
What do you mean they didn't have the audience?
So, as much as this is going to pain you to hear, you remember the cow one, not the John Cena one, not the one where John Cena's a cow, the actual animated cow.
But I'm going to go out and say no.
Well, that was the last animated 2D animated film that Disney made.
I thought it was The Princess and the Frog.
Is that 2D? That's definitely 3D.
Yeah. And it's fantastic.
That's definitely 3D.
Right, Princess and the Frog is definitely 2D, but go off.
Or it might have been hand-drawn. There was something to do with it. It was like, what's the... I'm going to Google it.
Either way, right? Look at some of the masterpieces we have had in for 2D. Treasure Planet, Hercules, Mulan, Tarzan, Lion King, Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, but would you say that Treasure Planet is
amazing? Yes, I would.
Is a 2D film?
It's entirely 2D, so yes.
Well, it's got parts of 3D and Morph are 3D. Is it Morph?
They're all 2D. It's a 2D film. It's just animated in a way that it's still 2D. Oh, Home on the Range. Yeah, I mean that was one of the. I mean, it looks low budget, doesn't it? Let's be real.
Well, that was one they put out into cinemas and it didn't get a bite.
Yeah.
And then that was it. They were like, actually, we need to move on to something. And then obviously,
what we need to do is move on to live action remakes of our films because
they brought Toy Story out, didn't they?
Well, that's Pixar. That was an entirely different studio.
Yeah, but it was Disney Pixar now, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because they acquired the rights to it.
Yeah.
And then they went, why? Instead of, I don't understand why they ever did this. Oh, we know Pixar are doing it, and we're making a ton of money off them, pretty much entire profit. Why don't we start doing it? Why? What's the point? You might as well merge the studios. Irrelevant.
Well,
right?
imagine, you know, a
Silly.
multi-billion-pound company has a great IP and they make a really good TV show called The Mandalorian, and then happen to drive that thing into the ground.
Well, that is true.
That
Disney
is
do
their
have
MO.
that capability. Yeah. I think this next one, I think you'll agree with.
Okay.
We're back to gaming. So every Souls game is basically
crap.
the same, yet people give COD shit.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
you'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh is not a Souls fan. If you're there,
If you tell me, if you go right, I've brought out this new game. Do you know what? If they bought the Dead Rising remake out, and I was like, yeah, great, and they're like, it's got Souls-like combat, I'd be like, no, I'm out.
There are a few exceptions, of course, of Souls-like games. Jedi Survivor. I'm really enjoying Xenoblade, despite how difficult it is. Those are Souls-like games, but they're, enjoyable. I think when you get to games like Elden Ring, where they quite literally designed it so that it is going to take you hours upon hours to finish this game, I, as a casual gamer, do not have the time to sit there and try and ruin my evening by trying to defeat a boss that's going to take me 10 hours.
My brother Jake showed me a achievement he had on Xbox. He says, "This is my crown achievement," and it was defeated Melania with a gemstone or something or other, which is just, and he was like, God, she was so hard, so difficult, so this and so that. And I was like, I'd rather eat the right side of my foot than do that.
Yeah, I don't think it's... they're not for the faint-hearted, those games, and I don't think they are designed for casual gamers like you and I. Next one. Controversial. Definitely a hot take. Piping hot. Bethesda has never made a good game mechanically.
True.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I didn't think you'd jump to that one so easily.
Yeah, they do. Their MO was releasing broken games for years, and it was always called Bethesda Jank. Now, when you've waited God knows how long for Starfield to come out, and we're in 2023, 2024, and like, all these games are coming out, and especially off the back of like GTA 4, 5, 6, when they come out, and like Red Dead, where they're so highly polished, like it's just almost impossible to find something wrong with the game. Like if you play the game normally, not try and do something random, it's impossible to find some game breaking or glitchy thing that comes out. Like I played Red Dead the first time and I was like, this is the most well-made thing ever. Last of Us, like off the back of games like that, where it's just really, really well made, to then get like, oh well, we've decided to play Starfield, and what we'll do is we won't give you storage containers, but you can store all your food on your ship, and then spend literally like a year, just like. And like Todd Howard, when he did his thing, he's like, oh, you can fill your whole cockpit. I'll just say cockpit, your whole loading bay, full of sandwiches. Great. I don't want to do that. Like, who wants to fill their whole thing full of sandwiches?
Why?
Stuff everywhere? Like, who wants to do that? That's not a cost pipe for your game. That's just you haven't optimized it properly to have storage containers. Do you know what I mean? And like,
it felt like a cop out, didn't it?
Yeah, glitchy characters, odd animations in the face, Bethesda jank, and do you know what? They need to bring out a polished game. And I just, I want Elder Scrolls 6 to come out and smash it out of the park, but it's not good.
It's annoying because they're home to some of the greatest IPs. Elder Scrolls, Fallout, even Starfield has the potential to be a fantastic concept, and they're all just suffering by being Bethesda. And we did those episodes on Fallout, and we got a lot of backlash about the Fallout 4 one, but I think it's just not a very well-aged game. And I think I went on Starfield about a month ago. I was like, I kind of fancy having a little run around on it. And it feels like it came out 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, like, the Starfield, how many times have you gone up to, like, the bartender in one of the bars in the thing, and you sat there and you go, like, talk to this guy, and he's, like, looking at the wall, and he's like, I think you should go over there. And you're just looking at the back of his head while you're having a chat with him. I'm like, this is supposed to be immersive, and I'm talking to the back of his head. Or, like,
to be fair, it's not far off what they actually do.
Yeah, and I was like, same with you. I thought about like re-downloading Skyrim, and my brother's like, you should mod Skyrim and like have it like a Lord of the Rings, or have it like a Game of Thrones
Yeah,
thing,
but you
or
shouldn't need to
change it.
mod it in order for it to be a good, enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I agreed. But then fundamentally for me, what turned me off the idea was like, it's still like, as much as you change animations, you do this, you do that, it's still Skyrim underneath it, and that plays
Yeah.
like crap. Like it's just
Yeah.
not aged well.
I mean, it's fantastic for the time that it came out, but I guarantee people
100%.
don't. People still go, it's one of the best games ever made, and I'm like, it's not. It wasn't even the best game made at the time. So
No.
I don't think that's true. So I've got a personal hot take, or
Oh,
in
God.
fact, I'm going to do the overrated ones first before I do the last one, because I
Okay,
think my
sure.
personal hot take is going to
Send me over there.
send you through the roof.
Yeah.
So we'll quick fire these because we've talked a lot. So I'm going to go through the TV shows, the animated stuff first. Overrated. These are things that people have said. These aren't me. Arcane. Overrated. Yes or no?
To a degree.
Well, now I need. Give me a quick reason.
You haven't seen the second season yet, have you?
Not yet. I will have watched it by next week.
Okay. Very convoluted. Just you need to watch the first season to know what's going on and trying to find out what's thinking, what's happening. I did enjoy it for the most part, but it tends to have the really good episodes of the last 3 episodes of like each arc. The last episode of each arc is usually the best one, where things happen and you can get on with it. Decent animation. Yeah, it's good. It's just not as groundbreaking as like Blue Eyed Samurai was the better version of Arcane in my opinion.
Okay, nice. Next one, Shrek 2. Not overrated. Fantastic.
What, someone says Shrek 2 is overrated?
Yeah.
That person needs to find a hole and crawl into it.
Find Jesus.
Yeah,
needs to find Jesus.
Yeah.
The
That needs
Simpsons.
Jesus. Yeah. We're not done Shrek yet. Shrek has the best soundtrack. Shrek 2 has the best soundtrack. I Need a Hero. Jennifer Saunders. Absolute.
I think the joke still land.
Yeah, it's an amazing film. Yeah, it's the reason I want to see Shrek 5. You know, you've got Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots comes from Shrek 2. Sure, do I ever say that Shrek 2 is overrated?
I'm a stallion, baby.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I need a hero. Get in the bin, freak.
Yeah. Simpsons.
Too long
and
to
also,
watch.
The next one is also Family Guy. So I don't think that category-wise are not too dissimilar.
If you're a fan,
I think they're both. I don't think they're necessarily overrated. I think they're oversaturated.
Yes, I think it's too much of it now.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Like if you watch Family Guy now, I don't think you catch up till the end of next year. Like,
well,
it's just
same as Simpsons. I always go, I'd love to marathon Simpsons, and then I look at the fact that it's 30 series, and I go, I really can't be asked.
I wanted to do One Piece, and it was like 1,000 episodes, and I was like,
yeah, it's just insane. They're the types of shows. If you're going to try and follow it, you needed to have followed it from the start. And then the last one on TV in animation, is SpongeBob. Do you think it's overrated? I don't think so. I grew up with SpongeBob. I feel like it might have been a few years after your time.
Very rude. We'll just breeze past that, but okay. You're only 2
I'm not being a knob. It just is what it is, isn't it?
You're 2 years younger than me, mate. Let's just remember that.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of time in this sort of industry.
Some people are diehard SpongeBob fans.
Mate, I think
fans.
It's banging. Like SpongeBob.
It's
timeless. Maybe it's oversaturated now, and maybe it should have stopped, when the creator died. But, it's SpongeBob. Yeah. It makes its money.
Is it still going?
I think so. They did that horrible, and then they did that horrible 3D animated film, which, is exactly what it says. Horrible.
Wonderful adaptation of a 2D property.
Very odd.
Yeah. Nah, I'm on the fence with it. I do think it is a little bit, but there are some diehard fans of it. I don't want them coming after me.
So we've got some games now.
Oh God, no.
Number 1, I've got 7 games here quickly. Death Stranding.
I
feel like it's not rated highly enough.
My brother Dale will love it. Loves it. He gives it 10 out of 10. Thinks it's great.
Do you think it's overrated though? That's what I'm asking.
I don't think that is. I think Kojima is.
Okay. Moving on. Fortnite.
Overrated.
I do not agree with that at all. 14 million people watched the end of game event on Saturday night.
Yeah.
14 million people.
The thing is, it's rinse and repeat. It's got its
No,
niche,
it's not. It
and it's
reinvents the wheel every bloody season, and
Here's my
know it
personal
is.
take.
We
right?
went from a video game where it was basically Mad Max to
It's the do-all
Marvel.
game. Yeah, it's the do-all. It is a do-all game, but I think it does suffer in quality. Like I think that Fortnite has its play.
Well, speaking of suffering in quality, the next one is Warzone, which I think is suffering in quality.
Overrated. Yeah, and they ruined.
I don't get the hype for it.
Yeah.
People are like, "Would you play Warzone?" And I'm always like, through gritted teeth, like, "Yeah." Do you know what I mean? Like, no.
Warzone's decent, but the thing I don't like about Warzone, I do agree that it is overrated, is they then thought, oh, everybody's playing Warzone, let's make a Call of Duty campaign based off Warzone. And
Yeah.
like your maps were all jumping into maps in Warzone, and I was like, no, you had a wonderful Call of Duty campaign in the new Modern Warfare where you were doing like, clearing houses in London, and it was really, really, it looked phenomenal. And they went, oh, actually, people don't want that. They want, you to jump in Verdansk and kill wave after wave of enemies. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that at all. And like stitch a campaign together. No, do it properly. Give me proper levels in proper places. And they did it with Modern Warfare 2. But Modern Warfare 3 was just like, let's parachute into here and do this. And I'm like, no. If I want to play Warzone, I'll play Warzone. If I want to play campaign, I'll play campaign. If I want to play multiplayer, I'll play multiplayer. Don't put them together. Warzone's overrated.
Okay. Right. 4 more.
Go on.
We're going to quick fire these ones because I
Fortnite
feel
is
like
definitely
they
overrated, though. We've brushed past that, but it is.
we're going to continue. Breath of the Wild.
Tears of the Kingdom's better.
So do you think Breath of the Wild is overrated? I do not.
Fundamentally
Set the benchmark for a lot of future RPGs, to be honest. But there we go.
I do think it is a weak game compared to its sequel. I don't think it's overrated in a sense of like.
No, you're right. It's a weak game. It did win Game of the Year, but it is a weak game in comparison to Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, it is. And
okay, Ghost of Tsushima.
What, overrated?
People have put it. Mate, I've got 2 more to go here yet.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. Get off them drugs, people. They're not safe.
Next one. God of War 2018. It's not overrated. I mean, the second one is better. Ragnarok is better.
The brewings at the moment is they're going to make a God of War trilogy of
No,
they're going to remake 1, 2, and 3, or they're going to remaster or redo or something.
I don't understand what that has to do with this being overrated. So I hope you arrive at a point.
Bear with me. I'm there. I'm getting there. Circle around.
Quickly.
So they're doing 1, 2, and 3, and we were talking about it when it was me and my brother were talking about it, and it was like, would you play it if it looked like old God of War, or would you play it if it looked like new God of War? And I was like, if they did the first 3 games in the new style of God of War, over the shoulder, and you did all the Greek pantheon, and it was all looking like God of War Ragnarok, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
Do I think that the first one's overrated? No. Do I think that they should bring out that the second one shouldn't have been a duology? No. I wanted a trilogy of that games, and I think that I don't think
that's because they're not overrated and you just wanted more of it. So the answer to this is no, it's not overrated. You wanted more.
I did want more.
Fantastic.
I want more of it. Yeah.
Last one. I think this might split a few hairs. Red Dead 2.
Shut up.
Okay.
That game defined a generation.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. It truly is the best game.
It's in the news now. I don't think
it's got the replayability I wanted it to have, though.
Oh, you shut up, right? Have you seen the recent news where they're making like Batman and Joker, where they're turning Arthur Morgan into Superman, and he like lands in, and then one of the guys is getting beaten up, and he's like looks like Batman, and then Arthur ends up giving Batman cash because he's like, I'm trying to save you. And it's just funny because it's like Batman's giving Superman's giving Batman money, and Red Dead. I've been replaying Red Dead. I've played it last few months, and it's just chilling, hunting. Yeah, that game now looks like a next gen game. If that released tomorrow, I'd go, that's a PS5 game. And overrated. Well, stay off them drugs, kids. No. No.
Yeah, well, those are our hot takes for this episode. If you guys have got any
What's your
gaming
personal one?
hot takes, I've decided we're going to do that one as a vertical. So go and watch that one as a vertical, guys, because I think Josh and I are about to get into it. But if you guys have got any gaming or animation hot takes, send them, because we'll discuss them. I think we make this a thing, Josh. Let's make hot takes a thing.
You know, if you're coming in with some random stuff like, "Oh, Red Dead's overrated," get out.
Yeah, you could be on for a punch on, but yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for hot taking with us.